Just a second. Thank you so much for having me, Stephen. I'm Peter Zavada. I'm from Hungary, Budapest, and I'm going to read two poems translated by my wonderful friend, Mike Watsoni, who's sitting there behind you. So the first one is entitled Mortar. There's little doubt that all forms of limestone, including some of your bones, were once in solution in the sea, Mother. So said the illustrated magazine I read, sitting next to you at the hairdresser's, the dome of your dryer humming reassuringly. Natural processes give you form, and little creatures helped secret you. Rainwater high in carbon dioxide ate away at the Earth's outer crust, it said, and I concluded that you'd been washed into the sea as a big wave of highly concentrated liquid. The humming of the dryer was like the murmur of the sea. Sometimes there was so much limestone in the water, it was deposited as lime mud. There's still quite a lot about, even deep underground. You've been building up all this time. Limestone is good for building with. Whitewash is made from builder's lime. When you died, Dad told them to make the house all white. Builder's lime is mostly limestone, calcium carbonate, by another name. You are made of little crystals of calcium, Mother. Heated to 1,000 degrees centigrade, or thereabouts, you separate into carbon dioxide and calcium oxide. The carbon dioxide is your soul. Dad and I took your burned up bones and your emulated blood, and softly as a pagan mason sacrificing to his Mother Earth, mixed you into our mortar to make it set. Although you were there already. Every brick we laid that day had fallen down by morning. In the newer poem entitled Porta Cabins. The routine of porta cabins, metal fences, has dissolved into the disinfectant white of waiting rooms, contoured reception desks, hospital green sofas. Habit has been replaced by a sort of determined stubbornness, though as plans go, I would hardly call it daring. It was clear. If I carelessly give way to what by its very nature crops up as temptation, then a single rash decision can bring with it a whole caravan of consequences. I was hard-headed, at long last determined. I knew that if I grabbed the door handle and pushed down, the room would explode into the darkness. I step out and immediately start gaining mass, drawn towards the geographical center of the forest. Memorable cracks radiating out, branch still, the nakedness of noise. Only I can be the hero of my poem, and this upside down glass on the chipboard table, furrowed alienness, or that layer of dust on the tomato, the brownish, overripe spots of the peach as they spread out in rings like salt marks of the bright green burgeoning mold. Caring is what I do every day, and that has nothing to do with exhaustion. But the wood still remains stubborn even as it readies to my hand. Through the spade, I see the ore, the cathedral, the quarry, and there's a wound on the site of all creation. I'm full up with the city. I long to be back in a purer surfeit, where the wood is a kindly wastefulness, and rambling is time frittered without guilt. But instead, an end of summer feast, and orchids, a starry carpet of fluorescent plankton on the front of the laser-wrapped basilica, and product samples in magazines, smart carbon alloys. But what is most convincing in its purposiveness are the geraniums and gentian, as history like a Baroque allegory sprouting out of the ruins. The slow decay of the copse is a chance that I pass up, but it isn't only mine. What I mark out in space, a swollen knot, my associations accrete. The heart of the memory suddenly collapses. The valley coils up around me. Look, the marshaled markers of spring, the obedient expanding circles of the wind. In the middle, a smaller central part surrounded by flowers. Their smoothness stretched tight upon them, their roughness pricking stubbornly out. The communicating vessels of the stalks, the truth of the petals taking the place of the bud. Now. Thank you.